Hello and welcome to another product spotlight. I'm John, and today I have a box from ExactRail. So let's go over to the workbench and take a look. All right, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an HO scale Milwaukee Road 3898 Ribside boxcar. Well, it's actually three of them. These are from ExactRail, and these are from ExactRail's Platinum series, which means that they're going to be really detailed. And I'm looking at ExactRail's website where they have 6 different models, and 5 of the different models on the website represent as-delivered paint schemes, and one of them is a repaint. 2 of the ones on the desk here are as-delivered, and one is the repaint. These models go for $44.99 on ExactRail's website, and probably your best bet would be to go to exactrail.com or trainlife.com and see if they have what you're looking for. So we'll take a look at these one at a time, and what I intend to do is we'll look at one of the as-built models in detail, and because the as-built ones are kind of almost the same, except for some printing on them, I'm going to just have a brief look at the other as-built, and then we'll take a little bit closer look at the rebuilt one, just to catch some of the differences. I do want to mention I've looked at these with my magnifying visor and found the paint on all 3 to be astoundingly good. And I do want to point out, while we're looking at the side here, some of the separately applied detail, like the little grabs on the end here. The ladder on this side is a separately applied part. This tackboard is a separately applied part. It looks like the door tracks are separately applied, top and bottom. And the door looks like it should slide, but it doesn't. It's just super ultra detailed. And something else to note is that all of the writing on the car side here is legible. You might need a magnifying glass to see the really small stuff like over here, but it's all legible and looks excellent. Taking a look at the brake end here, you can see again a lot of separately applied detail, including the ladder, the brake platform, the brake wheel, all the brake detail that goes down to the bottom, down the side of the car. The tackboard also separately applied. This is, in fact, a Katie number 58 body-mounted coupler here. And if you look more carefully, you can see there's an uncoupling lever. And just on the other side of the coupler there is, in fact, a brake line air hose there. I'll turn the car so you can see it from the other angle on the B end. But before I do that, I also want to point out, and we'll take a closer look at the roof in a minute, but I want to point out that this part of the roof walk that leads to the main roof walk is also a separately applied, it looks like a photo etched part with separately applied grabs on the corner there. Everything here is stuff that people used to have to add to models like this, or would have to modify to make it look better. It's all here, folks. This is ExactRail's Platinum series. If you look at it from this angle, you can see there's an air hose right here. Looking at the A end, you can see it's pretty similar detail to what we saw on the B end. And just overall, it looks really good. Just want to point out that the A end also has this special little door up here. So we're taking a closer look at the top of the car now. And I think it's worth pointing out, in case it's not completely obvious just by looking at the picture, that the roof walk is a separately applied wooden roof walk. And what might not be apparent, and of course I mentioned before the little walks that lead to the roof walk on the ends, what might not be apparent is that the roof walk has wood grain modeled into it. The roof walk looks especially convincing, and then, you know, of course you have all the little corrugated detail on the roof itself, and this kind of stuff really lends itself well to weathering. A brief look at the underside of the car reveals separately applied brake detail, a lot of it. And you can also see from this angle that these are metal wheels. And I did mention before that this is in fact a body-mounted Katy coupler. So, and I've heard people ask the question, why do they have brake rigging on cars like this? And the real answer to the question is a couple things. When these cars are rolling down the track, if you get a ground level view of them, you can see that stuff. And the other thing is, people would add that detail to their cars. I think because you can see that stuff. So these are important details, and they're all there. Okay, so I did a little switcheroo on you, and we're looking at the repaint car now. And I just wanted to show you, basically we'll go in the reverse order of what we just did. So we're going to start with the bottom and end with the side view. But again, lots of separately applied freestanding brake detail there. Metal wheels, body-mounted KD58 couplers. It's all there, folks. The top detail also is basically the same as what we just looked at, with a wooden roof walk with simulated wood grain, separate planks. Looks excellent. Again, looking at the A end with the separately applied ladder, tackboard detail, and the little door here. The B end, as with the other car, has the hose. There's the Katy coupler, separately applied tackboard, separately applied brake platform, all the brake wheel detail and associated detail that runs down the end of the car to the underside is all there. This is a really fine wire cut lever and a separately applied ladder, just like the other car. And I'll show you what's different when we look at the side view, which is the next thing we'll look at. So here's the side view of the repaint. And here's the main difference that I noticed. It has a much bigger Milwaukee Road logo here. And instead of having a specific logo like Route of the Hiawathan, like this one has, this one just has the generic Milwaukee Road logo. And then of course, your dates down here are going to be slightly different. So that's really the differences in the repaint and the as delivered. The paint on the one we were just looking at is equally as good as the one that we looked at first. And this is just a really good looking model. Let's take a look at that last as delivered one. All right, so I'll be brief with this one because it's a lot of the same but different. Again, slightly different here. This is the route of the electrified Olympian as opposed to the route of the Hiawathan. Otherwise, it has similar detail from separately applied grabs here, separately applied door track detail, and a door that again looks like it should open. It doesn't, but it really looks like it should. Separately applied tackboard and ladder. Just a very good looking car. All the writing's legible. Excellent paint. It has all the end detail that we saw in the other cars, from the separately applied brake wheel platform, ladder, brake detail, tackboard, uncoupling lever. The uncoupling levers are especially good looking on these models. They are so thin. They look like they're really to scale. And then of course here's your air hose tucked away behind the coupler. And they all have the Katy couplers I'm showing you here as well. Here's a brief look at the A end. Looks familiar, doesn't it? All the same stuff, including that little door. Well, if you were expecting something different on the top, I'm sorry to disappoint. But I'm glad to be able to show you how good it looks. Just like the other two. It's a very beautiful model. And finally, there's all your separately applied brake detail. Looking good under there. Something that always sort of intrigues me is how detailed the floor of the underside looks. And sometimes these are like a nailable metal floor or something like that. I don't know if that's what it is on this one, but it always interests me how they make things even down to that level of detail, because that's something you really can't see as it's rolling down the track. But the detail's there, and it looks really fabulous when you turn the car over. Maybe they do that just in case you ever have a derailment and the car turns over on its side And people can look at how detailed the derailment looks too. I don't know. I'm just joking, but that would be one use for it for sure. Something else worth mentioning is that these models all have ExactRail's 50-ton Barber S2 friction-bearing trucks. I think these are really, really good models, and I love the fact that they included not only the original ones, but also the repaint as well. I think that gives us a great idea of how dedicated ExactRail is to prototype-specific detail. Everything's on this model, from the cut levers to the hoses to everything. The only thing you could really do to these is weather them. And I actually intend to weather at least one of them and take it down to the SBHRS layout and have it as a club car there. So good job, ExactRail. I'll see you next time.